Here we are.
Well played, sir. Well
Thank
played. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Captain Meets. I am here with Jared James Nichols, fresh off the plane from a few dates in Spain and France and now the UK.
Here we
You're
are.
like a non-stop touring demon, aren't you?
Thanks for having me.
You're
so glad to be here again.
Welcome. You're always welcome.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Since I've seen you guys at NAMM, I've only had one day off. I've been touring and traveling every single day since then. And I won't be back home until August 4th. So it's crazy.
I mean, if we have a recap of your crazy career so far, we met in 2016. That was the first time you were here, which is insane. Even that is insane. And right then you were beginning to, you'd won this big competition in LA. You'd had some brand interest from people like Gibson and Blackstar. Mm-hmm. But it was relatively new. You had 2 albums under your belt by then, I think?
No, at that point it was just one.
Just one?
Yeah, just one. Yeah.
That's right, yeah. So another album in 2017.
Yeah, the end of 2017, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
That was crazy. So, yeah, we met. I was fresh off the Zakk Wylde tour. I'd done like a world tour with Zakk Wylde, and I was over here with Walter Trout, and we did the Captain Meets.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And then after that, things started really taking off, and that would have been 2017. I have to go back.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I started recording my second record, Black Magic, and that was an insane period because I was working with one of my best friends. His name's Tony Perry. His dad's Joe Perry from Aerosmith. So that's kind of cool. And we started writing and working on this record, and I remember it came quick. We recorded it at Johnny Depp's house. And we were able to use so much cool gear.
Clang. Just the name Clang.
Yeah.
So
did you hit your foot?
Yeah.
And we made a record, and I was really proud of it. And then we did 2 tours supporting UFO and then Saxon. So a bunch of the classic stuff.
Was that over here or in the States?
We did some UFO dates in England, but otherwise in the States.
Wow.
What else did we do, man? I mean, we did a ton of festivals. We came back over for festivals.
You did Rambling Man, didn't you?
I did Rambling Man. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah. What was the big one? You had one in Paris or something where there was it Aerosmith headlining that one? Or
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Download. Right. We did Download Paris.
Did Download.
That was cool. Yeah, we've just been touring nonstop. Basically, it's like this. Like, I feel like I spent so much time learning how to play guitar, right? And then I spent so much time trying to figure out what I wanted to sound like or what I wanted to do. And then finding bandmates and then figuring out how to get a gig. And then all of a sudden you get the gigs, and then it's just snowball effect, right? And then all of a sudden it's like you're on tour all the time, and now I don't have as much time to like practice because we're always traveling, right? And it's just funny how it works, and I'm I'm honored, and I'm so grateful to be touring as much as I am in 2019.
How do you manage that? Because So I was listening to Black Magic this morning, and it's a cool album. Some really cool riff-based tracks in there. Your vocals on that are superb. So it's a good album. But I was searching. I was going, there's got to be a more recent one than that. I'm just like, but there obviously isn't.
No, there's not.
And is that how do you balance that? Or do you just feel there's not a need, there's not a need for a second one just yet?
Well, I think that there's definitely always a need to release new music, but I also feel the need to strike while the iron's hot, right? So when we keep getting these tours and we keep getting this stuff happening, and then also what we're going to talk about here, it's just like the time slips and slips, but rest assured, I've been writing a ton. I'm getting ready to put out another record, and it's going to crush, man. I'm really excited.
Is it the same band as we met in 2016?
The same drummer. The bass player, Eric, he left to do some other stuff.
Right.
I think it's really tough nowadays to kind of keep a band together when you're touring 10, 11 months a year.
And I suppose a lot of because of course you go out as the Jared James Nichols kind of band, sometimes it's just not cost effective to have a band go with you everywhere, and it's just like, we'll have a different band for each region.
And then sometimes I get lucky too, and I get to do those cool ones with like a bunch of like guest guitar players and stuff. So it's always fun, man. But I've been so yet again grateful to have such good musicians around me all the time.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it'd be great. I'd love, really interested. So you reckon there could be another single out though? Before
There'll be
the
a
summer?
single out this summer, absolutely.
Awesome.
I've been writing a ton. I've been writing with a friend of mine. I don't know if you guys know Tyler Bryant.
Yeah, he's here like next week, isn't he, Tyler?
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to tell him I say hello.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
we will. Yeah, that one came out of the blue. We literally we got a phone call last week, I think, saying he's here. Do you want to do something? We're like, yeah, if there's a date, that'd be awesome. Another killer guitar player.
Yeah. So we've been writing, and I don't want to just put out more music for the sake of putting out more music. I think it really needs to be important. It's like it means a lot. So and I know people want some new music, so it's coming.
But you are, I think, another one of these good examples of the modern working guitar player who accepts now that it's pretty impossible to make a living out of just one. If you just toured or you just recorded or you just did tuition stuff or whatever.
Absolutely.
And so you've taken the opportunity to work with a couple of amazing brands, and they don't get much bigger than the two brands you've got here.
Yeah.
To develop your own product. Now, the Epiphone one, I guess, was a little bit more straightforward because there, Daddy exists.
Yeah, of course, Daddy exists. Daddy's there. Yeah, this one was a no-brainer. This was an easy one. The story about it is, if anyone doesn't know about it, I have Gibson. I named Old Glory, and it's a unbelievably beautiful guitar sitting under a bed right now.
Right.
But this particular guitar, what makes it special is obviously it doesn't have a neck pickup. It has one pickup, a volume tone, no toggle, no frills, and it's just a lean, mean tone machine.
Remind me again, the Gibson version of that, was that a 2 pickup guitar that you took a pickup out of?
Yeah, the original, yeah.
What did you have when you came over in 2016? Did you have the custom shop?
I had the Zach guitar. Yeah.
Of course you did.
Yeah, because I remember that the original Old Glory, it needed frets so bad.
Yes.
It was like, I had like 4 days to get a fret job, and it just wasn't.
So what is Old Glory then? Is it some sort of 70s single pickup custom?
Old Glory, the original Old Glory is a 1968 Les Paul custom that I removed the pickups. It was like a total parts guitar.
Right.
And then I had that guitar, and it was amazing. And then online I found someone custom ordered a custom shop, but it had like a Tune-o-matic, and it had like a kill switch and all this weird stuff. But the guy wrote on the thing, it was on Reverb, it said, ordered this guitar from Gibson Custom and I hate it. It is not what I want. And I remember we were on tour with Leonard Skinner, and I was looking at the guitar and we were backstage, and I was like, man, I kind of want this guitar.
And that was single pickup 390, was it?
Yeah.
So that is basically, apart from the bridge, that was pretty much the same as this.
Yeah, I put a dog ear on it. That was different. And then the funny part with the tailpiece, I modded it to a wrap tail myself.
Right.
And it's a crazy idea, man. I mean, I was putting holes in the top of the guitar and everything, and there was the 2 holes, and then I found one of those custom-made plates, and I put that on it. And then when I was doing the guitar with Epi, they were like, oh, we should put a plate that says Blues Power, and I was like, yeah, that's really cool, man. Let's do it.
Well, it's a great, and presumably, I suppose, if somebody ever did want to mount a Tune-o-matic, you could do on that.
Easily.
But so this, I know Gibson, were always on the lookout for up and coming guitar players like that. So I guess that relationship started under ye oldie management, which is cool and fine. Yeah. But this has all come to fruition with the Epiphone thing since the new guys have come in.
It was in the works, but it was I think down the pipe a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then JC and Cesar over at Gibson have been nothing but amazing to me, and the whole team over there. And Cesar said to me, with the first time we met, because they were in LA meeting players and meeting the team in LA, and I remember they said, oh, the new guys want to meet you. And I remember when I met Cesar, he's like, oh yeah, he already knew, and he said, I know how much you love this, and I love it too. So it was so cool because I didn't have to be like, hey, I'm Jared, blah blah blah, and it's been such an unbelievable change that as a player, it's so exciting, and it's so exciting to see players get excited about gear and get excited about the whole revamp. And I'm fortunately able to show this off, and we have a lot of exciting, cool stuff coming down the pipeline, man.
Oh, really? More stuff?
We'll see.
Oh, let the cat out the bag there.
No.
I'm going to go into a bit more detail on this, let's also. I'm not sure quite as much how the Blackstar sort of hookup came along, because as I said, this one came along because you had the old Gibson. So how did you meet these guys? And there's like 5,000 miles separating you from these guys as well.
I met them at a pub. No, I'm just kidding. So the Blackstar thing, when I first moved to LA, the first studio that I rehearsed in, Swing House Studios, they had Blackstars. This was 8 years ago.
Wow.
And so they were probably one of the first to have Blackstar. And I remember every room in the studio, we would go there, and I'd go there when, it was like the off days and get hooked up. And every room had different Blackstars. And I was like, what's up with these Blackstars? And I started plugging into them. And when I formed my trio, I did it through a Blackstar. I was always playing them. And then I had gigs. And I asked Phil, who's now my manager at the studio, hey man, can I use one of these Blackstars for a show? And he's like, yeah, of course. So I would take them on the road, and I started to know all the models, and it was super cool. And one thing led to another, and we were coming over here for the first time. And they said, well, why don't we can get you some Blackstars. And that's really, folks, what it comes down to in the beginning too, is the fact that when you have a company like Blackstar or Epiphone or whoever it is say, yeah, we can help you, when you're on the road. And, it's more than just having it at home, and it's great. But when we're in the battlefield and the Blackstars are there, okay, it's like, it's comforting. And it's great. I love it. And they hooked me up last year. They were like, oh, they heard murmurs about the guitar. And right around the same time, it was like a perfect storm. And they were like, well, we're thinking about doing a limited edition amp for you. And when they said that, I'll be honest, man, I was a little taken back, because I never thought I'd have a signature amp. That's crazy. Like, really, I never even dreamed that far. A guitar, that's the pie in the sky. I was like, oh, that was amazing. And then when this came about, I couldn't help but be totally blown away. So last year we were on tour in September in the UK, and I went to the factory. We had a day off, and we show up all these scuzzballs, these long-haired greasy guys. And we roll out of a van, and we roll in there and drink some coffee, and we go in this workroom. And they had a big whiteboard, and Penny's like, okay, let's start designing it. And they were like, this is like, basically, we have the shell of what it is, like a 20 watt, but you can design everything else to it. And I remember at that moment, I was like, man, I'm really not that prepared. And so I said, well, can I just start playing, and we go from there, right? So it was so cool. We sat there for 8-9 hours, and we went through every detail. And I'm blown away by how good they sound and how reliable it is. Like I said, I've been on the road since the first day I saw these was the day before NAMM. So 2 days before I saw you guys. And I remember that was the first time I saw them, and I've been using it on the road ever since. And
I remember being, not, skeptical is the wrong word, but I think a lot of guitar amplifiers, you signature guitar amplifiers, you're sitting there going, is this really just the same as the normal one? But but you had these on stage for the Gibson gig, and you were like, just come on, I'll plug it in. And I was like, man, that is a monster sounding amp, and it is quite different tonally to the regular HT20.
I think that the things that we were able to pick out, for instance, the mismatched speakers, and just the little things like capacitors for my fingers, the way that I attack it.
Take us through, this is, I'm going to try and remember you can tell us, what are the output tubes in it? Are they EL84s?
84s, yeah.
So EL84s. So you've gone for that almost old school, Marshall-y kind of more compressed kind of tone.
Oh, for sure.
Have you always been a fan of using a relatively underpowered kind of amplifier then, and really cranking it as opposed to giving yourself lots and lots of headroom?
I love lots and lots of headroom, on a festival, and you can really push it. But I think there's something about a small dog in a fight that it's got more to prove. And the overtones and the saturation you get from it, it's a whole nother level of disgusting. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the best part is when I am at home, there's the switch. They put the 2-watt power switch in there, so you can jam it at home. But then when I'm on stage, I can just turn it all the way up. And it's just look out, man. And
as a modern kind of touring guitar player, do you turn up to festivals and do you get the sort of oh no, he's got an amplifier, why can't they all just use Kempers? Or are you finding it's all just still quite open-minded, and you they're happy to mic this up and you still get the best sound that you want?
Yeah, I mean, look at me. I show up to a festival and they're like, look at this guy, we're letting him in? No. Yeah, everyone's cool with it. It's funny, yeah, they'll throw a mic on it, but they'll definitely look at it and be like, really, dude? Yeah, because there's so many, it's so dominated now by that.
Yeah.
But I think there's something to be said. The thing that I really love about it is pushing air and getting the overtones and that harmonic content that I think that really can't be replicated. Yeah. Maybe it sounds on a recording, but when you're there in the room with it, it's different.
Well, let's get into some tones then, because obviously, you've got a single pickup, so no toggle switch, just using the volume and the tone control and the dynamics in your fingers. You have got 2 channels on here.
Yeah, 2 channels. Should we start at the cleans?
Well, I don't know. You don't even strike me as a sort of person that even would do that.
No, I'm actually, I don't have any pedals. Like sometimes I'll use pedals. I'll use a fuzz or, something different. But really where I feel like I'm the most connected is when I'm just plugged straight in and there's nothing in the way. Because I'm the kind of guy too that would start a tour back in the day with a pedal board, and all of a sudden after show 2, like, oh, the wah-wah just broke.
Yeah.
Or, like, oh, this cable broke. Well, I guess I really don't need this pedal. I only use it for 10 seconds or whatever. And then I remember the most liberating day was we were at Ramblin' Man, and the tuner pedal I had broke. What do you do?
Well, we'd just be out of tune, but I know what you got no option on that.
I tuned to the bass player, and like all the records I love, like all the sounds I love, all this stuff. Back in the day, they didn't have any of this stuff. And I'm not trying to say that that's better at all, but I just said to myself, you know what? If they could do it, I can tune with my ear. Damn it. Like, let's,
So, okay, let's take us through then. So you've got this set up on the kind of the dirty...
The blues power channel, right? Yeah, this is like where I can kind of live on it. Because this guitar, it's like a dirt bike. There's your throttle. And this is kind of your sensitivity. So if you turn it all the way up...
The dirt bike analogy was so good until you had to work out what the tone control was.
Yeah, it was like... what is that? I don't know what that is.
Steering wheel? I'm not sure.
It's kind of like a steering wheel?
Who knows?
Okay, so the blues power channel with the gain up. This is like where I'd run it at a gig. Yeah. And what we can do, just for everyone's sake, we can just take all this to 12.
Sure.
So then, no one... there. That's and a little bit of reverb, so it sounds like... Not bad, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
So then what I like to do is, and the big thing for me was, with these speakers, it's a V-type and the GT1275. That's what it is. So you have to remember these things.
Yeah.
This is the technical talk that I'm not good at. The clarity, so I can really back down. And then if I add a little more, this is like where I like to live, right around here, with that gain a little up. Very simple. And then, put the gain all the way up on that. Cool, right?
There's so few players that play with their fingers as opposed to playing with a pick, and all of them have a sort of just a different sound and technically as well. But do you find do you need to dial in some extra brightness there, or
you know what? I think that it doesn't hurt, and every situation's different. Like, if I were to do anything, always, it's more mids.
Right.
I always want more mids. So I would go like this, and maybe I'd take the bass down a hair. Yeah. And if I were to fine tune it, and there is a difference too when you kind of crank this channel a little bit. I think my style tends to be really mid heavy.
Yeah.
So I really want to hear that.
And we're not that loud in here.
No.
I wouldn't even say you could do a pub gig at this volume. I think you'd absolutely need more volume.
Can we turn it up or no?
Yeah, we can turn it up.
Is this a
possibility? Can we get a thumbs up from a sound man? Absolutely.
We got a thumbs up from
let's turn it up.
Okay, we're gonna turn it up. So if I turn it up, this is more where I live, know, in my.
You can so hear what the power amp's doing there in terms, it's compressing in and
just
getting
crying.
all dirty. Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Real sound that, again, I think people will, people will know who watch this. I wouldn't say I'm anti-digital, but I'm not the most forward-thinking person ever.
Yeah.
But there's that sound, and it will only do that, where you've leant into the speaker and you've got the volume going, and I think people will just grow up. They'll never hear that.
Like
they'll never experience
the one thing I always do, one more time, just real quick, I always go like this, just to test like the thing, so I'll go like
And I'm not even sure it's that the digital thing can't do that. It's the volume, isn't it? It's the volume and the power and the fact that you're making the amplifier sort of get into a territory where it's going like, oh, I don't want to be here. It just sounds amazing.
It's like a baseball bat, man. It's pretty cool, and so that's where I tend to live. It does a lot more than that. If you even want more, there's an extra voice.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, there's more, which I don't usually go to the more because I'm. I always try and, but here's the more if you really want to get crazy. So it's pretty dirty.
It is dirty. I think it suits you more with that slightly lower gain, doesn't it? It just gives you a bit more dynamics in there. But it sounds great.
For me, I want to be right on the edge of like the. I just think it's like a chainsaw. Look, I'm screwing up your place, man.
Fine.
I'm getting crazy in here. It's like a chainsaw. It's like I really want it to be buzzing, but then when I hit it, and just have enough clarity so when I back down, I can. It has like your standard clean, which is just. I like this too because it's kind of spanky.
Yeah.
I kind of
great.
Yeah, I can kind of get. Kind of gets like a little telly. And it has enough punch where if you really want to dig in and get a little bit to it.
Yeah.
Great. Otherwise, for me, I just use it more as a, It's kind of cool.
I really like it.
Yeah, man.
I really like this. Fared. We did like a shootout of mid-volume valve amplifiers. Obviously, we didn't have your one. We just had the regular one.
Yeah.
And it really stood up well against all the other competition. It was very cool. Well, where's the green? What's the
British Racing Green, man?
Oh, so that was more of a Blackstar thing than yours.
No, that was my thing that I brought. Yeah, I thought it was cool because so much of the music I love and everything. And in order to do this, it was here in the UK. British Racing Green.
It looks great with the wicker front. I think it looks really lovely. They've got this cool covering technique that makes it almost look like it's going to be spongy, doesn't it?
But it is, right?
But it isn't. But it looks like it looks like you could sort of rest your weary head.
I kind of want to make a cake. It looks like a cake.
I just want to talk a bit more about the guitar. I got to play this actual one, I think, at the NAMM show.
Yes, you did, yeah.
And it was way more satin then and way less shiny.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of an odd one, really, because when you see these sort of straight out the box satin, you sort of go, oh, it doesn't look very like Gibson-y. Mm-hmm. But what happens with satin guitars is the more you, like your arm and your hands and everything, they go like a shiny thing. And now this looks like a gloss finish. It's really kind of weird, but it's almost got that VOS kind of gloss finish to it as well.
For sure.
So it looks a bit more authentic. I've got to show you the grossest thing ever, and I don't know which camera is best to close up. Maybe Chris's camera. The slot head of the screw here on the bass end is so full of some sort of undescribable black gunk, which I'm guessing if you gave to like a forensics CSI team would be absolutely your it's just your man gumph. I don't even know what the word is, but I'm guessing from a hand doing that a lot. Yeah. It's complete. Whereas this one's completely empty and this one's completely full.
That guitar actually smells bad too.
Oh,
yeah. It smells like me.
It does. Well, not bad. It smells basically like Sweaty Man, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it smells of. But I was playing this at the NAMM show, and we immediately kind of got this idea. It's a pretty big neck, so it's it's got that vintage kind of Gibson kind of big neck. You got the ebony board on here, and the workmanship around the inlay is insanely good. I mean, it literally just looks like a full bore Gibson. This you were saying is a Seymour Duncan?
Yeah, Seymour Duncan US AP90, man.
Oh, and it sounds wicked.
It's the same one I have in my Old Glory.
I even like the fact that some of the chrome plating is starting to kind of wear off the bridge already, because it just gives it that authentic, I've been around the world a couple of times look. Mm-hmm. And I was even saying to Jared as well, now getting to play this, what are we, nearly 6 months after the NAMM show, that sense on the back of the neck that some Epiphone guitars have with the sort of the polyurethane, slightly more sort of plasticky kind of lacquer on the back, even that's starting to feel worn in. I mean, what do you reckon in terms of hundreds of hours that you think you've played this?
Well, how many days have gone by since the NAMM show? What are we saying?
So it's like 180, 150, 180, something
so
like that.
I've probably played 180 different shows on that guitar. I think that at least 500 hours. I don't know,
very
man.
Cool.
Well,
what's the white?
It's like a reverse stinger, right? So like you'll...
reverse stinger? Yeah. That sounds like a really bad poo.
Yeah, exactly. A reverse stinger.
So what even was a stinger? Is that
what I was told is when guitars would be like B stock,
right?
Back in the day in the 50s, they would get this. They would get a stinger.
They would just paint the back of the headstock white if it was B stock.
Well, not white, but they would do like a black, different colors. And so like if it was like a sunburst, they put a stinger on it.
I never knew that. Did anybody in the room know that?
Now, someone on YouTube is going to say the right thing, because I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still...
or a special order.
I like the Martin. You know what Martin guitars do to any that finish the thing, and the guy at the end of QC says, no, there's a blemish.
Tell me.
Wood chipper, straight away. So the idea is that there can never be a B stock Martin. It's just like...
God bless him.
I know. Wow. It's like, wow, D42, no.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine? I say, that's just what I've heard. I might be wrong. Oh! That's blues power, basically, ladies and gentlemen. That is blues. Are you using gold strings?
Yeah, those are...
You used gold strings before, didn't you?
They're DR strings.
Right.
Do you guys sell DRs?
I don't think we do, but you've got like regular nickel wound here and then gold here or something.
They're called Veritas, and what it is it's like it's not a coated string, it's coated underneath. So it feels like a regular string, and then it's got like a coated core.
Right.
And they're really strong, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they look cool, they sound good. Oh, sounds great. There's something about P90, it's like it's the old thing that it all started on that no one's fully...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, it's just not...
I think a lot of players, it's obviously the buzz. The buzz isn't bad in here, though. It's always, every day it's different.
We're still on a clean sound, aren't we? If we go back to a dirty sound, but it's not. there's a definite element of want here.
Can I show you some cool things quick?
I kind of do you know what I like about single pickup guitars?
Tell me.
And actually, your whole rig, I think there's a rite of passage at some point that says you only get one pickup, no toggle switch, you can't have any pedals, and you're only allowed one sound in your amplifier. It forces you then as the player to have all the color palette, all the colors that you want on your palette now have to come from
100%,
here,
man.
and maybe a little bit from here.
Yeah.
But that's it, isn't it? Whereas I think when you have pedals and a Strat with 5 switches on it and an amp with 3 channels or whatever, you can be a bit lazy here, can't you? Because you just go, stomp, stomp, here's like 5 different sounds.
Yeah, and nothing to put down any of the pedals or anything, but for me, like I said, the closest I ever was to like the sound in my head, or, when I felt like I was actually connecting playing, it was when it was just straight up the tone from the guitar, and being inspired by that. And then I found like easy little fixes where people would say, the first thing they're going to say is, well, I love the neck pickup sound. And for me, when I play, okay, that's great. I'll just roll this back. And then if I want, I can go Clapton and do the, we can get the woman sound. If I want to do the wah-wah. So to me, I think that what it really comes down to is your imagination, especially on a guitar like this, because it's so simple. And
wicked.
I just really think that it's inspiring when you pick up a guitar and you say, okay, I'm not gonna. Like, what do I do? Because I have nothing to do but play. It's like, okay, well, if I use the volume a little more. Okay, well, I have to get creative with that, and I think it's fun, man.
Oh, it's amazing. These I know are limited edition. Mm-hmm. Are these as well, or are you?
Yeah.
So these are limited as well. Do
Absolutely.
You know how many there are? Or?
Well, I've heard some rumors of the pre-sales.
I know. We've taken a lot of orders for these already.
I think that it's a lot more than anyone anticipated.
Yeah.
What I was told, and I can confidently say it, was that it was going to start. We were going to start with 500 of them.
Right.
But now what that number is at is a lot more than that.
So there's limited to just 7 million.
Yeah. We're going to make the little ones for kids and the miniatures and no.
Yeah, it's limited to as many as anybody wants to buy.
I think it's so cool though to have something so personal to me now, and it like I kept it a secret for a long time, and it was just something that only I really was so passionate about that people are actually into it.
I like, again, and I've said this to Gibson before, and I've said this in videos before. I would much rather Gibson continued trying to do higher end Epiphone guitars than lower end Gibson guitars.
Right.
That's a treat to play, a treat to look at. And it's, I've totally forgotten the price now, but it's something like £700.
Yeah.
$5.99.
$5.99. Is it really only $5.99?
It's $5.99 here, and I am going to order one.
Put the price up.
After this.
And yeah, if you go and played like a $6.99 or a $7.99 Gibson, it's nothing like as nice to play as that. But there we are. That's just. I know lots of other people will go, yeah, but I want an American-made guitar.
Well, this was the one thing I must say. With this guitar, when I sent them the specs that I wanted, it was so simple that I just said, there's certain things that I don't need, but there's things that I really do need. It needs to have the playability. Yeah. Like, I need to be able to trust the guitar. So, like, even the little things, like having Grovers, like, I just feel good with Grovers, and the actual jumbo frets, and the Seymour Duncan, and these were the things that really, for me, and then solid mahogany. So
there's no maple cap on that. It's just a solid mahogany
solid
guitar.
Yeah.
Wicked.
No.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, how that sort of that combination, I think, of your fingers, and because it's not a bright sounding guitar. It's quite a mellow sounding guitar, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, man.
It sound good.
It's to me, it's just really, it's inspiring to play because I can do so much different. You can get something.
that's on the clean channel.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's kind of got the...
That's great. Show people the camera how you just played that, because everyone plays that lick wrong.
Did I play it right?
I think you did, yeah.
Uh-oh. The moment of truth.
Yeah.
Well, I know this lick. Let me see if I'm in... I know that you have the... I think he goes between them. I think that's right.
I do you know what, as well, is fair enough, because I think that Paul Kossoff tone is one of the best guitar tones of all time, ever.
I'm with you.
And you just got that out of basically a 20-watt Blackstar and an Epiphone.
I think
and
that
it's
the...
pretty nailed on.
Yeah, the Paul, the... It's pretty good.
Monster.
Yeah.
Monster. Well, look, so obviously I wish you all the best with, you know, the amp and the guitar. But as far as musically and touring and everything the rest of the year, what's happening?
So right now I'm on this this crazy clinic tour, basically to show off the gear, show off the Blackstar and the Les Paul. I go all the way to like Egypt, Dubai. Yeah.
Wow.
Don't
steal anything out there, will you?
I know. No, I'll be a good boy.
No alcohol, no stealing.
No.
Let's be good. Yeah.
So I'm doing that until the 4th of July. And then after that, I'll be back in the UK in like 2 weeks after to support Living Colour.
No way.
Yeah, so I'm doing a tour with Living Colour.
Is that the original Living Colour
Yes.
lineup?
Yeah.
No way.
And they're doing Vivid in its entirety. So it's really cool.
Great.
And we have Sweden Rock coming up with the trio. I have Rock the Ring, Vaken.
Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be playing at Vaken. Could you imagine? But yeah, I mean...
You're doing the Blues Cruise with Joe Bonamassa?
Yeah, I got hooked up with Joe and doing the Blues Cruise in February.
Who's on that this year? Oh, sorry, you did the Blues
No,
Cruise.
No, it's coming
next
up. Yeah.
February 2020. Mm-hmm. So who's on the bill for that?
I saw Buddy Guy's on there,
awesome.
Taj Mahal. Who else is on? A ton of people are on there, man. It's going to be crazy. A friend of mine, his name's Charlie Daughtry. He runs the Les Paul for him.
Charlie Daughtry of Daughtry, we saw.
No,
different Charlie.
No, different guy.
Right, okay.
This
I thought
guy
you were just going to clang some more in as well.
This guy, he hooked me up actually with a 56 Junior.
Right,
And
nice.
him and Joe are in cahoots on this whole vintage guitar thing. And it's so funny how in the last few months, like, I've started to get into vintage guitars too. It's crazy, dude. So I think that cruise is going to be a lot of that.
And you're probably going to end up, whatever your fee is, you'll spend twice as much buying old guitars off of Joe Bonamassa.
Man, there's no way. There's no way I couldn't justify it right now, that's for sure. But yeah, it's all good. Just super busy, and, you know, I got to get some new music out soon, and, you know, I'm just going to be touring the world, man.
Good man.
Yeah.
Well, look, I will put in the description section below where you can find out about Jared and tours and music and all that kind of stuff. And obviously we'll put links to where you can find out more about the guitar and the amplifier. It's nice and easy, this, isn't it? I mean, it's like there's no pedals, there's no plectrums to endorse. It's
no, man. I think that we as guitar players, you know, sometimes when you break it down, it really is easy because it's just the sound. That's all I care about.
Good for you, man. Well, it's great to see you again.
Thanks, brother.
Head along to one of the clinics as well. This video won't go up in time for you to come to the Andertons one because that's tonight, but go and see one somewhere else. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, man.
And we shall see you next time. I've got to look at your finger technique thing. you go from using the thumb for like downstroke things to almost just holding your first finger to simulate a plectrum.
Yeah, I don't touch the first finger, but it's like it's a support. So like if I do this. Dig in so hard.
But your finger looks in remarkably good shape. I mean, is it excuse me if I just...
Oh yeah, touch my finger, please.
Yes.
Where's it been?
It's definitely, you can feel the callus on there, but it's, do you bleed?
Oh yeah.
So you just go full blood mode?
Dude, a lot of people think like, they're like, oh, well, if you play with your fingers, you're gonna have to be delicate. And man, I'll tell you what, there is nothing more brutal than a thumb without a care going. Because I'm hitting it so hard.
Are you able to get that, or you? Because it's.
Crazy, right?
And do you regularly bleed?
Yes. There was blood on this guitar yesterday. I didn't want to scare you.
I think. Can I just make a suggestion?
Yeah.
The next one needs to be a white version of that, because I don't think the black shows the pain off enough.
No, I think
if you did a white one,
I could do a white one.
Yeah, definitely with faux blood, like literally just coming down here.
Do you know what's funny though? Like you see this gunk in there.
Yeah.
I tried to clean that like 2 days ago, man.
And it's come back since then.
It's like it's just growing now.
You're gonna grow mushrooms in it or something like
that.
Yeah. It's just look at that, it's so multi-purpose. If you're starving on the road, you can just eat the carrots that grow in the goo.
That's it, man.
There's some magic happening here. It's all very cool. Very cool.